securing a wireless network. Now, I'm going to talk about three main things. Wireless networks have a very interesting characteristic. They come out of the box with absolutely no security configured. Now, this has to do with the way the whole wireless world started. There was a push by wireless manufacturers. They made it too easy, and as a result, security got sacrificed. You get a wireless access point, you get it out of the box and plug it up. There's no security configured on the thing, and it immediately starts broadcasting its presence to everyone out there saying, hey, I'm an unsecured wireless network, connect to me, connect to me. They broadcast what's called the SSID, that stands for Service Set Identifier, and every individual wireless access point will create a particular wireless network that can have a name, which is the property we assign to the SSID. Now, data travels over this new wireless network unencrypted by default, which is even more scary. Anybody who can read these radio waves with another wireless device can very easily see the data that's being transferred back and forth. Not good for security in wireless networks, so let's talk about, for the purposes of the A+ exam, the three main steps to securing a wireless network. The first thing we want to do is deal with this SSID configuration. Then, on every exam about wireless networks, they mention MAC filtering. We'll talk about what it is, why you shouldn't depend on it later on in this video. And then there's data encryption to protect that data in transit from the wireless access point out to the computers that are using the wireless network. So let's start with that SSID configuration. You should consider configuring the wireless access point so that it does not broadcast the SSID. Now, this is not going to stop your average 13-year-old hacker, but for most people, they won't know it's there, and it gives you some measure of security. Now, you should also change the SSID name from the default. Then you want to make sure you set an SSID password. You'll hear this called by people a network key, and you have to have that to get on that wireless network. Again, this is not entirely safe for a determined, knowledgeable hacker, but it makes you feel good, and it is going to be a correct answer on the A+ exam. Now, MAC address filtering. We can limit the ability for a computer to connect to our wireless network based on that computer's MAC address. Any network card device out there, when it was manufactured, was stamped with a unique address, and it has to do with the manufacturer of the card, the IP address, and all sorts of things. This unique address is assigned to every network interface card. So every network interface card out there connecting to a network can be uniquely identified from every other one in the world. What if we get a list of all the MAC addresses that we want to connect to our wireless network and say, unless your computer has this MAC address, you cannot connect? That sounds very secure. However, in the end, this is not a serious deterrent to knowledgeable, meaning 13-year-old hackers out there, because it's possible to do something called spoofing a MAC address. We can basically inject a different MAC address into our TCP/IP traffic rather than the one that is actually stamped on our network equipment in our computer, and thereby we can kind of go around this MAC filtering issue. So it is something you should do. It does make it a little more secure, but you cannot depend on this because there's free programs out there all over the internet that can help you get around this. And then finally, the third step is data encryption. There are three choices for data encryption in wireless networks, and I'm going to give you the three choices and one line of information about each. First of all, WEP, wireless equivalent privacy. This was the first shot at this. It doesn't provide true end-to-end encryption. It was found to be crackable. It's not considered safe. Don't use WEP. WPA was the quick fix for all of WEP's vulnerabilities. It's better than WEP. However, it's not considered safe. Now, WEP or WPA is another place where new hackers kind of cut their chops and develop their skills. You shouldn't be using these. On the exam, if you get a choice on securing the wireless network with data encryption, WPA2 is what you should be using. This is the encryption of choice. It is by far the most secure that's available right now. So just make sure you choose that on the exam when you get a choice. So just make sure each one of those makes sense to you, know what they are on this exam.